Haney. This is my daughter Alana. We're Skyping from, she's in Flagstaff, Arizona right now. She is currently a student at Northern Arizona University, where she is a freshman. Next year she will be transferring to the University of Hawaii at Manoa. So we are applying for the Harriet Bouslog Scholarship, and this is the oral essay portion of it. So hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties. She's going to ask me a series of questions that she has prepared regarding the union and its benefits and how it affects our family. So let me introduce her. Go ahead, Lana.
So how did you first get involved in a union?
I was raised on the East Coast. I was raised in New Jersey, in a town called Ramsey, where I didn't have much exposure to unions. Most of the people that lived there worked in New York City, including my dad. And he took the train every day into New York City and worked on Wall Street. About the only union jobs that were around my area were at the Ford automobile manufacturing plant. And that was a huge plant in the next town over that was a union plant that was run by the UAW, the United Auto Workers. And even back then, that was like 40 years ago, they were considered great jobs. They provided a good wage, they provided job security, they provided good benefits, medical plans, they provided a pension, much like the ILWU provides for me today. When I first moved to Hawaii in 1983, I got hired by American Airlines as a ramp worker, and that was my first union job. I was part of the Transport Workers Union, and that was my first exposure to being a union member and all that goes along with that, including contract negotiations and policies and procedures, the whole grievance procedure thing. Yeah, so it's very interesting. And then in 1988, I got hired as a longshoreman for McCabe, Hamilton, and Rennie. And that's part of the ILWU. I was in what's called the ship gang for the first 3 years, and that involves working all of the different piers, working on all different types of vessels, working on different islands. We used to fly outer island quite a bit, and after 3 years I moved up to what's called the wharf gang, which is mostly container work at the Matson container yard. There's less traveling, it's a little more secure, and I did that for 8 years until I got promoted to my current position, which is what's called the marine clerk. So I've been doing this for about 8 years now. So that's how I first got involved with the union. Okay, what's your next question?
Okay, so my next question is, how do you think being in the ILWU has impacted our family?
It's had a huge impact on our standard of living and the way we live. Everything from wages to my pension, to our medical and dental plans, a safe working environment, job security, all of those I have to attribute to being an ILWU member. Wages for one. I earn what I call a livable wage. We make decent money down there, and you know the cost of living in Hawaii is very expensive. You know, companies and corporations, their primary concern is their profit, not the employee's well-being, not their safety. Their bottom line is their profits, and the more profit they make, the better off they feel they are. So by standing together as one and negotiating with the union, we're able to achieve higher wages. You know, if you look at say Walmart for an example, I see people struggling every day they're not union members, and I feel corporations are taking advantage of them. The average sales associate at Walmart makes $8.81 an hour. How do you live in Hawaii on $8.81 an hour? That translates to an annual pay of only $15,000. That's significantly below the 2010 federal poverty level. The federal poverty level is $22,000. So basically all the employees at Walmart are living below the poverty level. And to me, it's just not fair. To me, I believe they're taking advantage of all of those people. Many of those people don't understand what a union is, what it stands for, and what it can do for you. The Walmart CEO, Mike Duke, in 2010, I believe, made $18.7 million. Yet they pay their employees $8.81 an hour. So, to me, it's just not fair. By organizing and standing as one, we're able to achieve higher wages. And being a union member has enabled us to live in a comfortable home. And I sent both of my daughters to private high school. And Alana's off to college now, and my younger daughter Nikki will be going to college soon. We eat well, we take nice trips, so yeah, it's I believe I earn what I call a livable wage. Also, I have to thank the ILWU for fighting for a generous pension. I won't be retiring for another at least 10 years, but I'm looking forward to a comfortable retirement. And the companies wouldn't just give that to me. That had to be fought for from, you know, all the union workers, all the way back to the founding fathers of the ILWU. The guys that went all the way back to you know, the Hilo massacre. Guys were the beginning of this union was it was a tough battle. The guys literally put their lives on the line to establish this union and get everything going. And I enjoy all the benefits today because of all those founding fathers and everybody that's worked so hard over the years. You know, I look around today and see all the outsourcing that's going on. IBM outsourced 63,000 jobs. They put 63,000 Americans out of work. Most of these jobs are going to places like India. EDS outsourced 22,000. Dell outsourced 17,000. That's 17,000 Americans that don't have a paycheck because these companies are maximizing their profits above everything else. I see no loyalty to their employees. Everything is the bottom line. How much profit can they make? And it's never enough. No matter how efficient they are or how much profit they make, they always want to make more the next year. So that's how the system works. We have a terrific medical and dental plan. Thanks to the union. I know this is in today's economy, a lot of companies are trying to do away with medical plans or making the employee pay a percentage of it. And I know it's pretty expensive. At my old job, I think the part-timers now pay $800 a month for their medical plan. Mine is completely paid for, thanks to the ILWU, and they've negotiated an agreement with the companies where the companies pay 100% of my medical and my dental, and I really appreciate it. You know, especially if there's a serious illness that could, if you don't have medical insurance, that could just be financially devastating. I was talking to a lady the other day who was cutting my hair. She was in her mid-50s, and she said she doesn't have any medical insurance. She's just taking her chances because she can't afford to pay the monthly premium. Safe working environment. That's a big one, because working down on the docks is a very dangerous place. It can be a very dangerous place to work. I've seen quite a few accidents down there, and there have been fatalities on the docks. Working on the pier is what I believe it's an inherently dangerous place to work. You know, we're using cranes to lift containers that are 40 and 50,000 tons. We lift equipment, heavy equipment, it's 100 tons. So just the nature of the business is dangerous, and things happen. You know, there's cables snap and things break, machinery breaks down. So the union, I think, does a fantastic job of keeping the docks as safe as it can be. And the more years I have down there, the more I realize how the companies, even though they don't want anybody to get hurt, safety takes a back seat to profits. And an example is when I first got hired, there was a container ship that came into port, and one of the containers caught on fire. So our job as longshoremen was to go up and hook up the crane, hook up a cable to each corner of the container. So that involved walking across the top of the container. And I was new, and I was still on probation. And that was a really dangerous thing that they told me to do. And I did it because I was still on probation. And there was no one from the union. They just happened not to be there that day. And the supervisor told us to, they said the fire department is going to spray down top of the container and cool it off. And our job was to go walk across the top and hook up a cable to each one of the corners so they could get that container off. But there was no way to ensure that the roof of the container had not weakened substantially because of the heat. And that was just an example of how they want to keep things going. I could have easily have fallen through it and burned to death. And you know, I learned from that lesson. Today, obviously, I would never do something like that, and I would never let any of the new employees do anything like that. Yeah, I see examples of that all the time. A few years ago, I was down at Barber's Point, and there was a lumber barge that came in. And the lumber is stacked in bundles about 40 feet high. And during the voyage from Seattle, some of the cargo got loose, and as the driver was taking off some bundles, he pulled back some bundles, and a whole tier of lumber that was 40 feet high fell on top of his machine. Fortunately, today the machines have a cage, and the forklifts have a cage on them, so he wasn't injured. Years ago when I started, the forklifts didn't have any type of cage on it. So if we were using one of those old machines, yeah, I'm sure the driver would have been killed. But anyway, the driver was okay. But now we had a situation where all this lumber was falling over. So they brought in a couple more machines to stabilize it. And management wanted to they kind of wanted to rush, because they're paying all these drivers and they want to get their barge unloaded. So it was a dangerous situation, and they just wanted to kind of rush in there and start trying to take down the loose bundles. And one of our business agents was down there from the union and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to ensure everyone is safe. We're going to stabilize the load first and ensure everyone is safe before we start taking down more lumber and possibly injuring someone else. Yeah, I see it all the time down there. Guys are driving automobiles and going faster than the speed limit, and the company will allow it, even though it's dangerous, because they're getting more productivity from the employees. So it's really been quite an experience down there, and very eye-opening.
Okay, so my last question is, how do you think the union affects society?
Well, I feel the unions are an essential part of a strong democracy, and they play a critical role in our public life and in the community in general. Not only do they give workers a voice on the job and help negotiate fair benefits and wages, but they also use their political and economic resources to raise the floor for everyone who works for a living. By fighting for higher standards for workers, businesses, families, the environment, and public health and safety, they've helped to build the middle class and make sure that the economy works for everyone. By uniting with others who do the same type of work, you have a stronger voice on the job and in your community. The ILWU has paved the way to middle class for thousands of its members through all of the benefits, such as the paid health care, pension, and wages. It also helps raise the bar for non-union workers as well. They oftentimes receive financial benefits from employers and increase their wages to match what the unions would pay in order to avoid unionization. So, yeah, I believe the unions raise the bar for everyone. We raise the standard of living for everyone. Unions create higher health and safety standards for all workers through legislation that have been passed because of the efforts of the union. Some of the legislation that has been passed that everyone benefits from would be, say, like the Fair Minimum Wage Act, or the creation of OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Act, workers' compensation laws. Everyone benefits from that. Fair Labor Standards Act, the Social Security Act. All of these acts have been enacted because of efforts of the union and by voting for the politicians that we believe represent us the best. I think we can agree that a healthy middle class is important to the economy. Unions create the opposite of the trickle-down economy that Ronald Reagan was famous for. Working people earn higher wages, and that means they can go out and afford to spend money on goods and services, which provides an increase in income for the people that make and provide those services. So it's pretty simple. Trickle-down economics only serves to put more money into the pockets of billionaires and just keeps the rich people just keep getting richer at the expense of the middle class. So I would like to finish by thanking and recognizing the founders and the old-timers of the ILWU who fought so hard and literally risked their lives to establish the union and all of the benefits that I enjoy today. Especially people like Harriet Bouslog and her husband Stephen, who dedicated their lives to the union. Often at no charge, they protected the rights of underdog clients and activists as they struggled to organize. Harriet was only one of a handful of woman attorneys back in her day when she was admitted to the bar in 1941. She was feisty and quickly became a champion of the working class. And I admire her and thank her. And thank you all.
I'd also like to thank the Harriet Bouslog Scholarship Committee for your time and for the opportunity to apply for the scholarship. I appreciate everything you do for the union, and hopefully someday I can get the chance to meet you all. Thank you.